Hey everybody, it's week number 10 of the Pilgrim Family Garden Project. It's Memorial Day weekend, a hot and humid Memorial Day here in Georgia. Let's start off here on the sweet potato draws. You can see how well they've come up. We're very pleased with that because some of our neighbors have lost their draws to deer. The deer come in at night and eat them. So we've been coming out at sometimes 1, 2 o'clock in the morning making sure these are okay. These are important because in order to continue this 80-year-old strain, we need these draws. These draws are taken from this area, moved to another area and planted, and that's how the potatoes are grown for the next year. So we'll be giving some of these draws that we don't need to our neighbors so they can continue theirs as well. On to the onions. What started out as just a lark for us has come up with a huge crop of onions. We look real close at this plant here. You see how they're turning light brown at the top and they're starting to droop over. That means they're almost ready to be picked. They're bigger than golf balls now. They're about cue ball size, about what we need, and we'll probably be picking them in a week or two. On to our Jacob's cattle beans. You look at these and you say, dude, your beans are dying. Well, that's right, they're supposed to be dying. We've stopped watering them last week, and we're going to let them dry right on the vine. Here's one of them right here, one of these Jacob's cattle beans. See, it's got spots, like in the Bible, Jacob's cattle. These are an heirloom plant, very useful for a lot of different purposes. And we'll be ripping these plants whole right out of the ground, bringing them to another location, then shelling them there. On to the cucumbers. These are pickling cucumbers, and they started off real slow, but through hand watering and paying close attention to them, we've got a fairly good pickle crop there. Flavor is pretty good this year. There's a little guy there. Now you have to be careful with these because he's small now, but maybe by the end of today he'll be ready. Like for example, here's one here that's a little bit too big. We're looking for a uniform green color and about the size of a pickle. Like for example, this guy here we picked earlier, he's too big. We waited too long, he got hidden somewhere, they're hard to see in here, so he's no good. To the peppers and tomato rows, peppers have been fantastic. Lots of hot peppers like the banana pepper, and we've got cayennes down there and jalapenos. The peppers, the jalapenos, and the banana peppers have been ready for weeks now. We're freezing them whole. We'll process them into something else later on. Tomatoes, you can look and see this Roma bush tomato here. See some? They're getting ready to go, turning orange. I bet this particular plant here, you see we've had to tie him up on down the line. It's a bush tomato, but we still have to tie him up because there's probably 100 tomatoes on this one plant. And we may pick them a little early too, because you look here, you'll see tomato worms have gotten in, started to eat the plants. That's one of the, here's one that's started to eat that little tomato. That's one of the prices you pay if you're gonna go organic. If you can't dream up some kind of elixir, magic elixir to spray on them to keep the worms off them, you're just gonna have to search through the plant and find the worm. And he's camouflaged to look just like a leaf. They're about as big as your finger, and they can do tremendous damage. They could eat a third of this plant right down to nothing before you could see it. So we're gonna have to watch for those. But we're looking forward to some good tomatoes. On to our green beans. On the left hand side you'll see 10 weeks. On the right hand side 8 weeks. Here they are. Look at these beans getting ready to go. Here's another one. Nice and fresh, because these plants here, though there's still some new growth on here. We picked from this row here, we picked these earlier, but they're about on their way out. We've canned hundreds of jars of these beans already. Froze some, given some away, but they're coming out real well. They have to be picked today, it looks like. Onto our squash, our summer squash in these two rows. It's about had it for the year, about gone, but this row in the center, the zucchini, there's one. Zucchini coming in says since it was staggered 2 weeks later, Zucchini's doing great. With the summer squash and with the zucchini, the flavor this year has been fantastic. And we're not used to that. We're used to a bland tasting plant, but these taste like candy. We make fun of zucchini, a lot of us do, but these are great. In fact, we're having some for lunch in just a few minutes. You see this, I'll go put this in here. For the past couple of weeks, every night I fill one of these crates out of just these 2 rows. We'll probably fill another one tonight too. Way more than we're able to use, so we're giving it away and to other people onto this. Butternut squash, you look down there, you can see some where it's getting ready to flower. Not a traditional plant here in Georgia, but it looks like we're going to get some butternut squash growing here. Move on to the cantaloupe. We weren't so sure what would happen, but the cantaloupes coming along great. Plenty of flowers and cantaloupes. There's one there. There's another one. Look at that guy. Now, we consulted some of the local experts about cantaloupes, about how to grow them in this area, and they basically told us, well, you just got to pay close attention to them and learn how to do it. So that's what we're doing. We're paying close attention to them and learning how to do it. Now, if you're going to grow completely organic like this garden here, get ready for some hard work. Very hard work. We don't have much problem with weeds, but we have a huge problem with grasses growing in here. Yesterday we were here all day just ripping out grass from between the rows, and it gets right up next to the plants. You have to work hard to get the grass out of there. One of the tools that we use is this guy here, a push plow. Now, we use this for planting with a various attachment at the bottom, but this particular attachment here, we use this for weeding. It's hard work, especially in this heat. But let me see if I can demonstrate here one-handed. You just basically take this, go right through the center of the row. Look at that, look how the faster you go, the farther it throws that soil. It does a spectacular job of getting the weeds out. If you're tough enough to be able to operate one of these, it does a great job of getting weeds out of the garden. And they're inexpensive, and they don't burn any gas. Now, for something that's not organic, let's look out here to the commercial aspect of the property. Now, some people are of the mistaken opinion that peanuts grow on trees. They don't. Those are baby peanuts right there. This is one of the smaller fields, about 5 acres of them. Because it finally rained here in Georgia. A couple of nights ago we had our first rain. The garden behind us, it only rained once for the entire period that we had that garden. Now, these are not organic, they're heavily poisoned in fact to keep predators out. But someday you may be having a peanut butter sandwich, and it may have came right from this field. Thanks a lot.